Hello, I'm Rafaela from CrateDB, and today I invite you to learn more about how data manipulation works in CrateDB. This is a beginner-friendly tutorial, and thanks to CrateDB's Postgres interface, it will feel familiar if you have ever worked with SQL before. First, I'll give you an overview of one of CrateDB's most unique features, the CrateDB Objects, and show you how to run CrateDB with Docker. And then I will go through how to insert, update, and delete records. But before anything else, what are CrateDB objects about? Something unique about CrateDB is that it has objects among the data types. Objects grant considerable versatility to data models and can be manipulated using SQL thanks to CrateDB's familiar Postgres interface. But when do I use object? Let's say an example where object fits like a glove. Let's imagine a system with a shipping address and an invoice address. Each address has attributes like name, street, city, and so on. Without objects, I would probably set it up like this, having a shipping name, shipping street, shipping city attributes, and then also, of course, invoice name, invoice street, and invoice city attributes. This looks a bit repetitive and disorganized. Now imagine you could group these attributes into a shipping and invoice object. The system would then look like this. We would have an invoice object with name, street, and city attributes, and then a shipping object with name, street, and city attributes, looking much more neat and clear. This is one example of how objects can add clarity to our data models. I'll work extensively with objects throughout this tutorial, so stay tuned for more examples. But before anything else, let's start CrateDB. In our previous tutorial, I showed you how to get started with CrateDB for the first time using Docker. Today, I'm following the same method, so I'll open my terminal and run this command. If you wish to learn more about getting started with CrateDB, check out our Getting Started with CrateDB video or our Getting Started documentation at crate.io. So now that CrateDB is running, I navigate to localhost 4200 and land on the CrateDB admin UI. So while I set up a table for this tutorial, I'll give you an overview of the object syntax for creating tables and executing queries. First, I create a quotes table where I store some literary quotes and information about the title and protagonist. So let's break up this statement. I set the title as a usual text type, and I put a quotation as an object. And by default, this is set to dynamic. And finally, I store the protagonist as an object, but with a strict column policy and some predefined key attributes like surname, first name, and details. So, what is the difference between the quotation and the protagonist objects? Let's look at how objects and their column policies work in CrateDB. CrateDB structures objects as a collection of key value pairs, where an object can contain any other type, including child objects. Moreover, an object column can be schemaless or have a fixed subcolumn structure. In CrateDB, there are three possible policies: dynamic, strict, and ignored, and I'll tackle them in the following examples. But before that, what are the main differences between them? The default dynamic policy allows inserts to add new subcolumns to the object definition. It grants the highest flexibility to the object column, and new columns are used like any other subcolumn, so you can retrieve them, you can sort by them, and use them in where clauses. The strict policy works together with a column definition. CrateDB will only accept inserts that strictly obey that definition. Finally, the ignored policy will only index the subcolumns values that match the definition and will ignore the ones that don't. I use this policy when there is a subcolumn definition I want to keep, but inserts may have different subcolumns as previously defined, and those I want to ignore. So now that I have my quotes table ready and learned the basics of CrateDB object, I can move on to the first insert in the table. With the insert statement, I can add data to my CrateDB tables. I can insert a single row of values, bulk insert several rows at once, and even insert queried values directly. So first, I'll populate my quotes table with a single insert. Here, I insert the quotation and protagonist values as JSON strings, but it's worth saying that they are not JSON objects. They are CrateDB objects. The difference between inserting for the quotation object and the strict protagonist object is evident here. In the quotation column, I insert an object with two subcolumns, words and length, and they were never defined before. CrateDB accepts this insert because quotation has a dynamic column policy, and CrateDB dynamically adds these subcolumns to the object definition because it strictly follows the column definition from the create table statement. Let's see a different example for insert that CrateDB accepts. This insert is also successful in CrateDB, although it has some differences from the last one. For example, I have added a meaning subcolumn to the quotation, which works because the quotation object has a dynamic policy. Also, I have not given the protagonist object a surname or an age, although these attributes were given in the original object's definition. This works because in this case, CrateDB will provide a null value for these subcolumns. Finally, let's do an insert that CrateDB will decline. In this example, I attempted to insert the age attribute outside the detail subcolumn, which is different from my strict object definition. So CrateDB returns the following error. Mapping is set to strict, dynamic introduction of age within protagonist is not allowed. This is exactly what we talked about. I will now query my quotes table to check what it looks like so far. And I will also create a view for the same query, as I repeatedly use it during this tutorial. This will be very handy for checking the results from the following inserts. Okay, so now that the view is ready, let's check out some other insert options. For instance, I can insert several values at once with a bulk insert. Each row of values is inside brackets and commas separate the different rows. Let's now check the state of the quotes table by querying the general information view. In CrateDB, we can also insert data directly from a query. For instance, I want to create a table to store my favorite quotes, so I create a table, and as a big Winnie the Pooh fan, I want to add all its quotes to my favorite quotes table. So to do that, I can query the quotes table, filtering for Winnie the Pooh results. And while doing my research for this tutorial, I stumbled across two possible birth dates for Winnie the Pooh. The first was October 14th, 1926, when the book Winnie the Pooh was first published, and the second one is August 21st, 1921, when Pooh was gifted to Christopher Robin on his first birthday. I used the former date as the birthday, but now I want to update all Winnie the Pooh records to the other date, and I can do that with the update statement. Here I specify the table, which is quotes, and also the attribute to be updated, in this case, birthday, and apply it to all the records where the first name is Winnie the Pooh. I queried the table with the view to check if the records were updated, and I can see that CrateDB successfully updated all Winnie the Pooh records with the new birthday. Deleting tables in CrateDB is done with the delete statement, where I specify the table and the conditions to delete. For example, if I want to delete all the records with Alice in Wonderland title, I run the following statement. Delete from quotes where title is Alice in Wonderland. And with that, we come to the end of this tutorial on data manipulation in CrateDB. But let's recap. First, I showed you different ways to insert data in CrateDB. Then, I updated and deleted some values from my tables. I hope this tutorial was helpful. All the links mentioned in this video and also the CrateDB documentation pages can be found in this video's description. And also, I would like to invite you to join our CrateDB community. It is an open space for discussions around CrateDB, to stay connected, get help, and of course, contribute. You can join us at community.crate.io. Thank you for watching and see you in the next tutorial.